Hey, good morning. Welcome to Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. On this Sunday after Election Day, we're happy to have you join our campaign, which serves all parties and people, as long as you have an interest in entrepreneurship. Our experts are members of the community, local, state, and federal leaders, and business owners who've walked in your shoes. They're here to share their insights, their expertise, and provide some needed inspiration, too. Our categories each week remain the same: getting started, gaining access to capital, keeping up with the current business events in the week in business, handling accounting and bookkeeping issues, and a variety of issues to help you run your business day to day. We always look at a specific industry and close with a success story. You can watch us every Sunday on Wish TV or live streaming through wishtv.com. Once we're done this hour, we post each of our 7 weekly segments and past episodes on our website, which is beoshow.com. Scan the QR code that pops up during this hour and it'll take you right to the website. While you're there, you'll find ways to subscribe to our weekly newsletter and how to sign up for and listen to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. All right, here's what's ahead this hour on Business Equity and Opportunities. In honor of Veterans Day, we have several segments highlighting veteran-owned businesses in Indiana. Fifth Third Bank unveils big news about a new Catalyst Fund. How one of InnoPower's BizPass partners is bringing new opportunities for Black business owners. We'll meet the driving force of Heroes Without a Home. And we go behind the scenes at a family-owned corrugate company. We are getting started with a salute to Robert Vane, founder of Veteran Strategies. He is the Certified Vendor of the Month from the Indianapolis Office of Minority and Women Business Development.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Getting started.
My name is Robert Vane, and my company is named Veteran Strategies Incorporated. I got lucky. That's the big answer. I left Mayor Ballard's office in November of 2010. Had no real plan after I left the office. Wasn't sure what I was going to do, but talked to a lot of really strong leaders in this city, including people like Mike O'Connor, who served as senior deputy mayor for Bart Peterson, the late Jim Morris, many others who said, you should think about starting your own business. I was kind of riding high because Mayor Ballard had so many projects that were coming to an end that had to be announced. So there's a lot of public media awareness of my name just because I was doing so many interviews and stuff like that. And then my status as a veteran has really made a difference. It's quite clear I get hired sometimes just because I have a veteran business. We do public relations. We step in and defend people when they think they're being mistreated in the public sphere. We do a lot of branding, marketing. I do a lot of writing. We do public relations, media relations for large projects. Currently, Veteran Strategies is doing the PR and the communications and community outreach for the Signia Hotel, the big project downtown. And we also did it for the Community Justice Campus. Well, the one thing that I like to do is help fellow veteran and veteran organizations, which is why I'll take this time to say, please reach out to helping veterans and families who experienced that terrible fire just about a week ago or so. Emmy Hildebrand's a fantastic leader. She does amazing work there. And I know a lot of people have already pitched in, but I hope even more do so because there's a lot of organizations that help veterans and HVAF is at the top. Well, I'll say in my family in 4 generations, we've had 17 veterans. So it's something that we talk about quite a bit. My mother was in the Marine Corps, my father was in the Marine Corps. Specifically for your question, my son Joshua did 2 tours in Afghanistan as a combat infantryman. There's a lot of adjustment. There's a lot of having to motivate yourself because you're used to being motivated, without being too harsh. The governmental departments that are tasked with the health and welfare of veterans, especially those who are injured mentally or physically and emotionally, can be lacking. So it can be pretty tough. My son had to get out of the Army because he had injured his back and was without work for a long time. If you have combat experiences to draw from in your memory, the idleness can't be helpful. I started my business 20 years after I had served. A lot of it depends on the nature of their service. I was in during the Cold War. There were very few kind of hot, certainly almost none when I served. But You know, I have a lot of respect and admiration for the kid, including my son, who volunteered for the military after 9/11. You have a big sense that you know where you're going. And Joshua, my son, as a combat infantryman, knew exactly what he was going to do. And that's something that can't be duplicated in the civilian world, that closeness. And there are a lot of organizations, private, public, nonprofit, who seek to help veterans, and I would just encourage every veteran to get on Google and start searching. There are a lot more than you think, and every single one of them is eager to help. It's the kind of thing that you sit in the audience and you look at other people getting and you're happy for them. You're as equally happy as you can for us, you know, for yourself. My business partner, Jenny Dexter, is a huge, huge component of this. And so it's very kind. And, you know, I have a saying that it always pays to be nice to someone. Maybe not immediately, but it does. And the fact that I've been recognized by such a good team in Mayor Hogsett's office means a lot, and I am grateful.
If you have a business story you'd like to share, tell us about it. We certainly would like to hear it. Email us at beo@wishtv.com. Coming up this hour, new opportunities for accessing capital that will empower small businesses to grow and create new jobs. Keep it here.
It's the first, the biggest. It's the All Indiana Sports app. Live scores, exclusive highlights, more coverage, more action. It's all here. I've been doing sports for over 25 years, and nothing comes close to this. The players, the fans, everybody needs this. Totally customized. You're in control. Your sports, your way. When you want it, how you want it. Download the All Indiana Sports app today.
Welcome again to Business Equity and Opportunities. Fifth Third Bank has launched a $7.85 million small business catalyst fund. It uses innovative funding opportunities to help small businesses grow. Nashelle Frazier has details.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Access to capital.
Hello, my name is Nashelle Frazier, and I'm Community Impact Manager for Fifth Third of Greater Indiana. So we have recently launched our Small Business Catalyst Fund. This is geared towards small businesses across our 11-state footprint within all life cycles of the business. So from your small, early start businesses through your more mature businesses, this fund provides technical assistance and most importantly, the capital needed for our communities. So small businesses across our footprint can use these funds for working capital, increasing personnel, purchasing space, and any type of business demands that they may have to serve their community. We at Fifth Third believe that our small businesses are the backbone of our community, and their strength and how they employ, it's just the entire ecosystem of our workforce. And so to invest in these small businesses is critical because they also need capital to get those things done in our communities. This is going to improve communities just for the health and vibrancy of our communities, for small businesses to be able to have the workforce that's needed for them to scale and to grow. And for those folks that are looking for the employment, the more that businesses thrive, the more that more jobs are created. Well, Fifth Third has a proven track record of community development, from place-based work, for example, with our Empowering Black Futures and Neighborhood Investment Program, but also through housing, through supporting small business with community development financial institutions, or CDFIs. And so this work is integral to our overall commitment to our communities. And so with this particular fund, we paired this with technical assistance. And so that is a common question and concern that many small businesses that may qualify but may not know that they do. This fund pairs that, so we have partnered with Community Reinvestment Fund, and which is the CDFI, to provide that technical assistance. So they are there from beginning to application through the entire process, to what documents are needed, what those funds could be used for, and how this entire process works. So it is not, applying online and then you're just kind of in this gray space. It is someone holding your hand throughout the entire process to kind of take away that fear, because I'm a firm believer, as a whole at Fifth Third, that small businesses, many do qualify, but there's just some extra help that may be needed, just some understanding for them to feel comfortable throughout the entire process. I do think so, because most small businesses have, they go into this with grand ideas and a vision and how they want to serve and give back to their communities, and it's that next step. We have a lot of solopreneurs or small family-owned businesses, and they have that vision of, okay, I want to take this to the next level. And so this fund here, paired with that technical assistance, is exactly how we can help support those kind of realize their dreams. Well, I think that because we have coupled this with the technical assistance, that is what that's there for, to help them prepare. And so I don't want folks out there to feel like, oh, if I don't have all my documentation to have this, to be fearful. So I would say go ahead and apply, go ahead and begin to talk to someone, and they will help you prepare that list. And also on the website, it's going to give you a FAQ, and so it will help give you some of those initial first steps and documents that you may need. But this has, again, that TA support that will help you to the end. No, there is no end date, and so the goal is to support and to see, we want people to use this fund, and we'll see where it goes from there. But at this time, there's no end date. I want to see, if I have an idea of, I touch a lot of small businesses just with community and the work that I do, and there's so many out there that are so talented, and they've been doing this work, providing for their families, etc. And there is that gap, and I believe this fund is one thing, as we say, a catalyst to get them on the road where they want to be and what their dreams are. And I would say it's for that small business owner that has maybe been doing this by themselves for a number of years, and they're like, if I could just hire someone, it's gonna help employ someone, but also give that entrepreneur, a break, and they can focus on the main thing. But I do see it just being capital that's in our community, and we know that is that's invested, and then it also gives back and it keeps going.
When we come back, a look at the 10,000 Small Businesses Initiative from Goldman Sachs and what it can mean to Indiana Black-owned businesses.
Seasons may change, but your source for weather remains the same.
And with 70 years forecasting your local weather,
Wish TV is your source for the most reliable and accurate fall forecasts.
From pop-up storms and sunny skies to weather trends impacting your season.
We're here to keep you informed, on air, online, and in the app, so you can enjoy fall to its fullest.
Watch the Stormtrack 8 Weather Team on Wish TV. Brought to you by Hensley Legal Group. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. InnoPower has partnered with Goldman Sachs to bring full-time business programming to Indianapolis with the 10,000 Businesses Initiative. The director stopped into the studio last week to explain.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
I'm Nicaela Chinnaswamy. I'm with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. We are a program, and my team does the outreach and recruitment for the program for small business owners. So we help small business owners around the country, and we're excited to help small business owners more locally in Indiana. Yeah, it means driving and growing our small businesses, which are so valuable to so many other parts of the economy and the communities. It's creating more jobs within the small businesses. It's providing opportunity for those looking in all different kinds of industries, because small businesses are industry agnostic, and then creating value in those communities where those small businesses are. So we want to help the small businesses grow, to help those communities they're in even more. Yeah, we want to make sure we're reaching all different kinds of business owners, all different communities, all different backgrounds, all different experiences. Part of the secret sauce to what we do is bring all those different individuals together and have them learn and talk about how they've all maybe had the same struggles in their small businesses, the same successes, but dealt with them differently and brought different kind of insights to them that they can share and learn from each other a lot about. The first Indiana cohort will be in the end of March of 2025. So we're accepting applications for it up until this December, but won't begin until the spring in terms of the classroom portion of it. Any small business owner that is started their business already, they're established, and now they want to grow and scale. That can look anywhere from a business that's 2 years old, that's kind of got their footing, to a business that's in its second generation and 50 years old. Anyone who wants to really grow, scale their business in terms of the marketing they're doing, in terms of maybe adding a second location or a second stream of revenue sources in their services, and want some help doing that. And not only in terms of technical assistance, in terms of business advice, but help from their community partners, help from local funding sources, help from all different areas, because being a small business owner can be lonely. So we want to bridge that gap. We want to give them a community as much as we're giving them additional educational resources. Exactly. There's a huge alumni network. We have, even though it's named 10,000 small businesses, we have over 15,000 small businesses around the country we want to connect them with so they can find business owners in their same industry in different states. They can also connect more deeply with any other business owners in Indiana. We give them continuing education, continuing networking, all different things. Once they're kind of in our family, we really hang on to them and continue to make sure they're successful. After they graduate, a whole part of the program is more financially based in education and really like understanding the scary parts of their balance sheets, their profit and losses and all that, so they can really understand the exact kind of funding they need for their business and the format of that funding. And then after they graduate, we connect them with any partners that can offer that and help that they get there in that regard. Great, we have done it. We've had a couple different models. We had a city-based model, we've had state models, we have a national model as well that can offer the same resources in Puerto Rico and the U.S. territories as well. But this is the best opportunity in this statewide model for Indiana to really help business owners all across the state, not just in the cities, not just kind of virtually, but through kind of in person as well in all different parts of the state as well. So we're excited that this model has really kind of found a sweet spot in doing that. Yeah, I think I really, I wanted to find a way to help people, and I think a lot of people do in their careers, and I find that helping our small business, helping our communities can do that. So I found the work really rewarding, and reaching small business owners all over the country is really a fun part of my job, and talking to different small business owners every day is really what makes my job fun every day. So I'm lucky in that regard. Yeah.
Applications for the first Indiana cohort of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Initiative will close in December for a launch next March. Follow the QR code to our website. We have all the details. When we come back this hour, Ty Shea talks about online options to help you outsource your accounting needs. That and much more next on Business Equity and Opportunities.
This Week in Business is made possible by InnoPower.
Wish TV is your home for the holidays, and this holiday season, we're inviting you to celebrate with our Home for the Holidays sweepstakes. From November 6th until December 12th, you can enter for your chance to win all kinds of fabulous prizes. You may win a $300 local shopping spree or get your rent or mortgage paid in 2025. Just head over to wishtv.com/contest or scan that QR code and let the holiday season begin.
Brought to you by Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, Carmel City Center, and Wish TV. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time to bring back a now familiar face here, Ty Shea, Chief Financial Officer of Circle City Broadcasting, our parent company here. We've said before that our company is in many ways a small, big business or big, small business. Bottom line is single owner, privately owned. Ty, that means the work you do is very similar to our friends and viewers down the line and what they'll face as well. So we appreciate your expertise. Want to revisit one of the first things we ever talked about on this show with you, and that is the idea that maybe for somebody who's got a great idea for a new widget or a new recipe or something like that, the numbers game may not be something to tackle by yourself. It's kind of echo that thought again. Why is that you think sometimes it's best to look somewhere else for accounting and bookkeeping?
Great question. Good to see you again, Scott. It's great to be back. I think this is a point that is worth hammering over again and again, because a business owner's specialty is not necessarily based a numbers-based, kind of strength. And so to properly grow a business, that business owner likely needs to put all of their efforts into growing their business, seeding it, hiring employees, doing all of the other factors that will make that business successful. Oftentimes it is a colossal waste of time for that person to be spending time at nights or on weekends or whatever, in whatever spare time they can find after their true business day is done, doing bookkeeping and things of that nature. And so that's why I always generally recommend, whether it be hiring an in-house person or using an external third party to take care of some of your accounting and bookkeeping needs.
All right, so let's get into that third party idea. We talked about the human element. In fact, some of our other contributors have offered their possible expertise and certainly their insight into face-to-face, person-to-person. Here, I want you to help me with my books. There is, though, in this modern world, often an online option, a computer option, maybe a cloud-based option. Are those reasonable options, and for whom would you think it would be? What do you want them to think about before turning that direction?
No question. I think, with each passing year, it only makes sense to eventually go to a cloud-based option. I think, what we went through the past couple of years with COVID, it's just sensical to be able to, with so many people working from home or forced to work from home, to be able to still access all of your information in real time, no matter where you are. There are plenty of cost-efficient cloud-based solutions available to small businesses, and I generally recommend to folks that I interact with that they use one of those options. I think it makes a lot of sense. It protects your data, it's accessible, you don't have to worry about backups, things like that. It should be one less worry for a business owner to concern themselves with, and I think it's nice to check that box.
Is there a simple industry standard right now, or are we still in sort of like the innovative phase where you'll have to do some research and figure out which one fits you best?
I think it's always advisable to do some research, but there are very accommodating vendors. For instance, QuickBooks is generally universally known. It's a very versatile system. Small, large companies use it, and it also depends what kind of business you have. Are you an inventory-based business and maybe have some more complications that a more out-of-the-box system wouldn't be able to handle? But more likely than not, there's a very cost-efficient system for you to use that shouldn't be too onerous for the typical business owner.
All right, so outside help may come in the form of a human being who's got a lifetime of expertise, and you can hire them either by the situation, or maybe just make them a sort of semi-permanent member of your full-time team. Or there is this digital option as well, the coming of cloud-based services and things of that nature. I tell you what, let's continue this conversation in a future episode of Business Equity and Opportunities. Specifically want to look at the idea of moving things over from, what I still think of as bookkeeping and the old ledgers and things like that to more of an online world. That work for you?
That sounds great. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Taishe. Up next, we meet a veteran and the founder of Heroes Without Homes. That's coming up on Business Equity and Opportunities.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Time to talk about running your business day to day. Melvin Fagan is an Air Force veteran. He served in the Vietnam War. He started Heroes Without a Home in 2017 to help veterans find secure temporary homes. The project has turned into much more, though, with some guidance from the IBE Business Training Institute.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
My name is Melvin Fagan. I have a transit housing for homeless veterans. I got a sore throat a bit. So what I do, I provide housing for them, programs, different type of food for them, everything like that, and transportation. I'm a disabled veteran. I was in the Vietnam time. I work at the VA hospital in Indianapolis. So I try to help a lot of veterans with a lot of different things. Well, what it was, my brother-in-law, he given this name, he married Edgar. We did a hands-on thing, me and him. So I did a lot of things with the VA hospital already. I do everything with the VA, so everything's go through the VA, what I do. I learned a lot of veterans need a lot of help. A lot of them are homeless, and a lot of them are too proud to ask for help. So I know how to deal with them more because I've been in the military, so I deal with a lot of veterans. So a lot of them come to me for a lot of stuff, programs, different stuff like that. A lot of veterans don't know the programs they can get out there. There's a lot of programs for them, a lot of help. They're too proud to ask for it. If you haven't never been in the military, a lot of people might not have a clue what's going on, and they don't know what the people go through, especially at the wartime. So when they come back home, they expect that somebody reach out to help them, and they don't. So they kind of lose interest in a lot of people, a lot of trust in a lot of people. So the main thing with them, you have to earn their trust. You earn their trust, then you have a better chance to deal with them. Same thing, they have to get the trust in you first. You really have to know how to communicate with them. You communicate with them and earn their trust, you'd be surprised what you get out of them. That's the main thing. Main thing with dealing with veterans, earn their trust. That's the main thing. Then you can help more, because a lot of them need help. It's a lot, mentally, physically, a lot of them need help for a lot of different things. So I try to see if I can change it best way I can. Well, the same thing, like I said, if you earn their trust, you'd be surprised at the kind of skills a lot of veterans have. They learn in the military. When they get back to the United States, or wherever they've been at, they try to implicate in the United States, try to see if they can do the same thing here. And when they go try for different jobs or jobs and everything, a lot of people don't, sometimes you're talking to a veteran, they'll be like talking to you in a few minutes. The person they talking to don't know where they're at because the cycle they go through trying to deal back with the reality, because where they've been is just like a different world. In the world they come back to. So then when they come back next year, if you haven't been here before and you came from another world, you wouldn't understand a lot of stuff goes on now, because you would think that they should appreciate you more, and they really get. So that's the main thing. The main thing I'll say, like veteran, earning their trust. When you earn their trust, you'll be surprised.
Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. We recently caught up with David Hoffmaster. He's the founder of Hero Hut. He met us just outside the Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, an organization that recently named Hero Hut its Nonprofit of the Year. Listen to the mission to understand why.
Yeah, so I'm David Hoffmaster, the founder and president of Hero Hut. Local to Indiana overall, born in Chicago, raised in Northwest Indiana. Went to West Point and then served in the Army for 6 years. Came back to Chicago and then ended up in Indianapolis. But back in 2019, I started Hero Hut. As I've told a lot of people, it's kind of by accident. And this is the fun part of the Hero Hut journey is right before I deployed to Afghanistan, which was 2011, I drove from Oklahoma to Milwaukee because I'd never been to the Milwaukee Irish Fest, and I always thought it would be cool. So it was like a couple months before we were deploying, I had an opportunity, and so I rented a car, drove through the night, saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this festival is so much fun. And then drove back through the night, finished my training, went back to Hawaii, and then I deployed with my unit. And then we got back in 2012 from our deployment, and every year after I went to the Milwaukee Irish Fest. with my family, with my friends, and just really loved it. When I got out of the military, I moved back to Chicago and just kind of was longing for something to either give back or be a part of the community. And so I reached out to the Irish Fest, said, hey, can I volunteer? Can I donate some money? Can I be a part of the fest in some ways? And I just got lucky. The executive director was like, hey, we don't really do anything for veterans. Can you work with some of our team here, which ended up being a bunch of Vietnam veterans, to create some kind of area for veterans that they can feel a connection, access resources, have a little hospitality, sit in the shade while they're at the festival. And I would be sitting with these Vietnam veterans at a local Irish pub, and we came up with the idea for Hero Hut. I was like, okay, great, that was fun. And then fast forward, people were like, hey, that went really well. You had, 1,500 people that came through the area and just loved it. Maybe you should start a nonprofit. And I'm like, well, I don't have a business degree. I have no idea about how to run a nonprofit. Sure, why not? Let's do it, And I called a bunch of my friends, some classmates, and I said, hey, who has any idea how to start a nonprofit? And we just kind of grinded it out, and we found that the idea really just took off. We really came up with this idea, and it was a huge team effort. And that's something that I've learned is ask questions, build that community, build that network, so that if you don't know how to do it, you're going to find someone else that does. When we started Hero Hut, we recognized that there's just a lack of collaboration in general, and that could be for the public sector, but it's especially true for the veteran. And I think there's just a lot of people don't really understand the veteran community, and what most people really don't realize is the veterans are everywhere. They're in all the businesses, they're in all the major businesses, they're right next to you, and it's a pretty diverse population group. There's the crazy combat veterans that everyone thinks are just out there shooting guns all the time, which, yeah, okay, some of us are crazy, I'll admit. But there's a lot of them that just are tech people, or medical, or intel, all that kind of stuff. So it's a very diverse group of people out there, and some are National Guard, some are active duty, but we're everywhere. And so for businesses to kind of partner with Hero Hut or support the veteran community in general, it's just asking questions again, and it's figuring out ways to collaborate. For instance, we've worked with Roche a little bit at some of their events. They have a huge veteran population group. If we're able to work with them and just kind of tell their veterans what resources are out there, what kind of community building activities are out there, Roche has the power to do that, and other companies have the same ability to just help us get involved with events, help us get their veteran resource groups out there, all that kind of stuff. I grew up lucky. I had a mom and dad that were really passionate about community. My dad ran a community center in Gary, Indiana for a long time. And for me, it's just kind of like in my soul. And I think for most veterans, service is that key component to giving back. Our slogan, which we're about to change, is Serve, Unite, Celebrate. The service aspect is something that I try to talk to everyone about. Is if you're a veteran and you've left the service and you're lacking that community now, easiest way to get involved is to serve. And that could be anything. It could be at your church, it could be at your local parks, humane society, whatever it might be, but find some outlet to serve, and it almost instantly makes your life better. And I would say that's not even for veterans, that's for all of us. But if you can find an outlet to serve, you're going to be able to unite with other people and make that difference. And don't try to do it alone. And Hero Hut has been successful because we work with so many other organizations, and we're not trying to be the person that solves all the problems in the world. We're trying to do that with others. I love it because I get to meet so many different people and organizations, and we've been able to support, I think, over 150 for free in our Hero Huts. And those organizations are people that I can sit down and talk to. And someone might be running a service dog organization. Someone might be doing outdoor immersions where they're taking veterans on fishing and hunting trips, or I've got people that are doing like race car driving, and taking vets out on that. And then, we're here at the VA where they're doing amazing work as well. And so you get a chance to meet a lot of really cool people. And then you realize we're all connected. And the only problem is we're not really just talking enough. And so that's, for me, even if I lost Hero Hut, I wasn't doing Hero Hut, I'd be doing something similar. It's fun.
If you want to help Heroes Without Homes, we have a link on our website. It's beoshow.com. Coming up this hour, we go back to Kelly Box to meet the company's operations manager and go behind the scenes at the family-owned corrugated box maker. You're watching Business Equity and Opportunity. It is the time each hour on Business Equity and Opportunities. We focus on an industry. If you have or work with a small business that ships or receives nearly anything, it's very likely you've handled a corrugated box from Kelly Box.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
My name is Justin Derrig. I'm the operations manager for Kelly Box and Packaging. Today we're standing in our Indianapolis facility. We're about 100,000 square foot under roof here, and we have 6 converting presses in the building. So we are a manufacturer of corrugated cartons. So we have converting equipment here. So we have die cutters, flexo folder gluers, and then specialty folder gluers. Now this plant is a little bit different than some of our other plants. We've also got plants that specialize in jumbo cartons. So if you need a thicker carton, double wall, triple wall, we manufacture that at other locations. This plant primarily converts single wall and double wall cartons. So we're a converter. Kelly Box is a converter. So we work with a number of different corrugators to bring in sheets cut to size for us to convert for our customers. After that process, all of our scrap then goes up to a main baler. The baler is then what we use to then recycle all of that scrap. Not only the corrugated scrap, but the plastic strapping is another big piece that we try to keep out of the landfill. It's very important for us to be very eco-minded. Our industry as a whole is very eco-conscious, but especially at Kelly Box and Packaging, we're very focused on the environment. Every single job is going to start with a design. So all of our customers are going to get paired up not only with a sales rep, but with our engineering department. And so the engineers are really the people that are in charge of making sure that we get the proper carton for the customer's specific needs. Some people think that a box is a box is a box, but they're really all very, very unique. When I was new to the industry, I started picking up boxes that you'd see at a grocery store or out at a retail center. Tons and tons of different variety there in terms of cartons. And so it's really important for us to make sure that the carton is doing exactly what it needs to do for each specific customer. So a die cut is something that we do for a specific insert or maybe even for an outer wrap. And those die cuts are specific for each customer. And we're gonna design that package around the customer's needs, develop a die with the customer in mind, and then we're gonna hold the die cuts, the die boards here on location, and then put them onto press as the customer requires. It is a long-term partnership. When you're a supplier of corrugated containers, you have to be a long-term partner. Boxes are relatively inexpensive. And so for us, it's really about that long-term relationship that really makes it effective. We get to know the customer better, the customer gets to know us. A lot of it is understanding what their needs are in terms of warehousing and manufacturing. Some customers need just the right amount of cartons there just in time. Other customers are gonna say, have their schedule put long into advance. And so for us, understanding what the customer's needs are, allow us to better service the customer. The design doesn't stop with just the structural design of the carton. The graphics are a very big piece. Most times the carton is that customer's expansion, and that's their opportunity to brand their product. And so we assist with that. We've got graphic designers on staff to help lay out customers' artwork, size it appropriately to each carton, and then make sure it gives that same pop for the customer or their customer when it makes it into the final user's hands. One unique thing that we do here at Kelly Box is we'll do inside printing as well as outside printing. So our presses are equipped with print downs on the inside of the box as well as the outside of the carton, allowing us to, in a single pass, print not only the outside of the box where your customer might expect to see the messaging, but also when you open that carton up to give that unboxing or branding experience there. This is a great time of year to be looking at and evaluating your packaging. End of year comes around and everybody's always looking at what next year's budget is going to be. Partnering with a box supplier like Kelly Box is very, very integral right now to make sure that you have the right amount of stock to get through the end of this year. And then what does next year really look like? There's always an opportunity to change packaging around. The neat thing about a box is they're all custom. And so the idea of going in and taking a dive in and looking at auditing your packaging now it's a great time of year to do it. Manufacturing is so much fun. It's a lot of fun to see something go from a concept to reality, and especially when we're manufacturing corrugated, it all happens right now. It's very, very immediate. I think the important thing though is it's really all about the people. You can't do anything, you can have the finest machines, you can have the best buildings, but it's all about the people that make it all work. Everything from your operators on the machines, your supervisors, the engineers and the sales team. The truck drivers are a big piece of it as well, making sure that the cartons make it to the customer at the end of the day. Because me having the box here is great, but it doesn't help the end user. It's got to actually make it to their dock, and that's really the important, that last mile that makes it so important. But no, manufacturing is an absolute blast, and getting to see it day in, day out is an absolute joy.
If you would like more information about this or any of our industry-focused segments, visit our website, beoshow.com, or scan the QR code. It gets you there right away. When we return, we revisit a veteran-owned specialty contracting company with some great advice for both veterans and potential employers. That's next on Business Equity and Opportunities. This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Time for a success story. Sam Glanders is a veteran who has taken the lessons he learned as a member of the Special Forces and used them to create a specialty contracting business working on some of the most challenging remediation sites in the country. He also has become a champion for fellow veterans by helping them re-enter the civilian workforce.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Success Story.
My name is Sam Glanders, president of SAGE. SAGE began in 2020 with doing environmental remediation and consulting with a focus on federal contracts. Yeah, so if you look at a lot of different environmental companies, you know, they have the consulting side, they have one or two areas that they focus on, or they do the construction side. One of the things that we're very unique is that we can do a full turnkey service all the way from the very beginning of an investigation all the way through the cleanup and then the closure. Especially when we're focusing on the federal sites. A lot of federal bases have contaminants there, and so, you know, with us being a service-able vet-owned small business and understanding those sites, going in there and cleaning up those chemicals is something that we take a lot of pride in. Yeah, so I joined the Army in 2011. I started off as infantry with the 82nd Airborne, and then ended up going towards the Special Operations route, being a Green Beret. I was active duty for 9 years, and then in 2019 ended up coming over to the National Guard side, so I'm now with 20th Special Forces Group drilling out of Atterbury. When I came out of active duty, I was an enlisted guy, so I didn't have a college degree, and had, trying to navigate the civilian side without a college degree was a little bit difficult. And so ended up getting a business development job with another environmental firm, and was looking at the federal space and seeing that there wasn't a lot of service-able vet-owned small business companies that play in the environmental sandbox, and decided to start my own company and navigate those waters. When I made that transition from active duty to the civilian side, that transition was really hard. And with that became a lot of passion on trying to help veterans navigate that transition. And so we really made a cognizant effort to chase veterans, to bring them over. Veterans bring a lot of different skill sets to the civilian side that a lot of companies don't really see unless they can hire veterans. With that is always, they want to take responsibility. They want to, those hard tasks, they want to go figure out a problem set and impress you with the solutions. So we have, whether it's SAGE or other companies that we've worked with, have really tried to promote hiring veterans and letting them be surprised by the outcome that the veterans provide. I think it's a two-way street. I think that the companies need to understand what they're looking for as far as capabilities that the veteran's bringing, and then the veteran needs to be able to convey what skill sets they have. If a company hires a veteran for a position and the veteran's not ready for that position, then it's not going to be a good relationship. So a company could sit there and say, hey, we got our veteran, but it didn't It didn't pan out, so now we're scared of veterans. So it's really just going out there and having those open dialogue communications between the company and the veteran to understand each other's needs and each other's capabilities to make that right fit. Because especially if it's going to be their first job out of the active duty side, you know, it's going to be hard. It's good. That whole transition is going to be tough. And so having open dialogue, open communication, support is going to be very important for success. One is change. You know, whether it's on the environmental side or it's working with veterans and trying to promote them into the business space and trying to grow that. Both sides are extremely exciting, especially for a new company, and seeing one, us progress as a company and grow and be able to hire, and then two, be able to, you know, veterans that we worked with a couple years ago to, you know, and it's mostly people that we've known that have said, hey, I just need help with a resume. Help me, you know, describe my experience in the military so the civilian world understands it. And then seeing that person go to the civilian world, really crush their first job, and then progress up the corporate ladder is extremely exciting.
As always, thanks to our guests and to you, our viewers. We hope you found the segments this week valuable. You'll find a link to all of them on our website, beoshow.com. Save you the finger taps right now. Just scan the QR code. It'll take you right there. Veterans Day is tomorrow. If you're looking to support veterans, many own businesses in our community and certainly would appreciate your business. Several local organizations are dedicated to improving the quality of life for veterans. One of them, helping veterans and families, suffered a catastrophic fire last month, forcing out veterans who were living there and impacting many of the other HVAF services.
As we rebuild our Manchester apartments, we could not do the work we do without our community on a good day. In light of this tragedy, we need our community even more.
We're going to see an increased need because we're not able to serve like we were on Friday.
So we have a link to the agency's Fire Assistance Fund on our website if you'd like to help in the rebuilding. Thank you for spending an hour with us this week. Join us next week for more business equity and opportunities. Until then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business, equity, and opportunities made possible by InnoPower, Bose McKinney & Evans, Gemco, Fifth Third Bank, Indiana Black Expo, Long John Silver's, and Circulus Digital Media.